ahead and get started with the last break-in session. My name is Molly Wells, and I am your room host for the session. This session partner track is being brought to you by the Iowa Department of Education Parent-Educator Connection. And today's presenter is Maggie Pickett. Maggie Pickett is a certified speech-language pathologist and Iowa native. She obtained a bachelor's degree in communication sciences and disorders and a master's degree from the University of Northern Iowa, specializing in child language development. Maggie's experience as a speech-language pathologist, early literacy consultant, and assistive technology consultant for Brentwood Area Education Agency expanded her professional repertoire. As the program consultant for assistive technology with the Iowa Department of Education and accessible instructional materials coordinator, Maggie is committed to ensuring each and every Iowa learner has access to the appropriate tools required to increase, maintain, and improve functional capabilities to support learning at higher levels. At the end of this, I'll turn this over to Maggie, but at the end, I'll make sure that you fill out the orange evaluation sheet in your packet. Okay, I do have extras if you don't have any, but I ask that you fill those out at the end of the session and leave them on the table, and I will collect them at the end of the session. Maggie, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. All right. So thanks for coming today. Today has been a great day of learning, a lot of great sessions. Really awesome to be invited here today. So I wanted to get started today and share with you, sitting down looking about this session. I was really thoughtful about what I wanted to share today. And I chose a topic that I think can span a lot of different needs, a lot of different families, and some of the ideas we're going to show you today are kind of like universally developed. So my session is titled Buried Treasures, Chrome Apps, Extensions, and Add-ons. Just to check kind of everybody in the room today, can I get a show of hands kind of raise your page names of families that we're supporting in the room? Elementary school, middle school, high school. Okay, fantastic. Beyond and beyond. So these tools I'm going to show you today, I think will be utilized at each one of those areas. Hello again. If you like what you see today, I did want to throw in a couple of opportunities to expand some learning. One of them is, you see the bird over here. Is anybody on Twitter in the room? No? Maybe some folks? Okay. So there are a couple of hashtags. One is that I call it a pound sign. A lot of people call it a hashtag, I guess. But it would be hashtag AT in IA, Assistive Technology in Iowa. And then that's my Twitter handle, MaggieP_AT. Another learning opportunity that'll be coming up this summer, and there will be a lot of great information for parents and educators, would be our Iowa Special Education Symposium. And that's going to be on June 13th and 14th. I can provide you, if you'd like, the link to the registration for that event. And that is actually an event hosted by the Iowa Department of Education. Okay. So each of you have two handouts. I should have two handouts. If you need more, let me know. One is them. Anybody else need them? So, fantastic. Awesome. And I'm going to be walking people through, and we're going to see kind of the other thing that is, I think when you take the measure of a lot of stuff, you will have a lot of things to utilize the work at home as well.
So this list is an extended list of tools that we will learn. And I think the technology is interesting. We know that
You can also, oh, I apologize. Yeah, right. Oh. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. All right. Sorry, everybody. Is this on? No. Not. Okay. All right. I usually don't need a microphone. I talk really loud, but that's okay. We've got a camera in the back. So your session resources, those same things that I've handed out, you can find online, so that you can go back and these are in the handouts. You can go back at any time to this link and get those handouts if you want to share them with any educators or partners that you're working with. All right, let's get to it. So my first slide, I really wanted to kind of set the foundation and kind of consider why I chose this topic again. And you can't see this, but let me read it to you. So we've got this custodian, or I would assume it's a custodian, but he's at a school and he's scooping steps, right? Our Iowa winters, this is a familiar sight. We have a student over here in a wheelchair, and he says, the first thing he says up here, it says, "Could you please shovel the ramp?" And the custodian, he says, "Yeah, all these other kids need to get in, they need the stairs scooped, so I'll do the ramp when I'm done here." And the student, this is just so much clarity in this statement. But if you shovel the ramp, everybody can get in, right? So so what I've indicated here is that clearing a path for people with disabilities or special needs clears the path for everyone. So it's really getting at that universal design for learning, for living, that if we're developing tools and accessibility features within our lives that support folks with disabilities or learners with disabilities, we're going to be supporting a whole lot of other kids as well, right? Well, that's what Google has done. It's what a load of platforms, technology platforms, Apple with their iPads and their iOS system, but Google Chrome has done it too. So has your school or your family gone Google? Let me get a show of hands in the room if you have a Gmail account currently, or your son or daughter or student has a Gmail account through their school. Okay, every hand in the room is raised. I'm in the right room. Thank you for coming today. So you're not alone. A lot of districts, a lot of our education agencies across the state have all gone Google. And there are reasons for that. But sometimes when we think about all the really great things that Google Chrome has done and developed, it can be a little hard and daunting to choose which one that we need to utilize. It sometimes can feel like this. Whether you're choosing an iPad app or an app on Google, it can be quite overwhelming. And so I'm here today to help you all walk through that process, or help you identify some tools that could be useful for your learner. So for those of you that have a device available, feel free to walk along. Otherwise, I'm just going to walk through, thank you, I'm going to walk through just a few things. But what's different about this session, I'm going to be hopping in and out of my slides a lot because I want to, on the fly, show you exactly what I'm talking about, okay? All right. So, first, Google has apps and extensions. The difference between the two are simple, but they can get a little confusing. Apps are actually like shortcuts to websites. So it's a website outside of Chrome over here. And here's your Chrome account, and they attach. Versus an extension, a Chrome extension actually impacts or it affects what's being put in your Chrome browser. okay? So it's going to be interacting differently with the information that you have on your browser. I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. Like I said, I'm going to be flopping in and out of here, okay? Okay, so do you see these over here? Those are my extensions. So here's your Chrome browser, right? Here's where you type in your website, right? And then over here, do you see these little icons? Those are our extensions. So if you, on the slides, the extensions are the things that are up in the corner. And you can turn them on, you can turn them off, but those are the things that are going to be actually changing what's going on in your web browser. Okay? So now let's talk about those apps. Do you see this little box over here in the left-hand corner? Okay. It's like a little tic-tac-toe box, but it's colorful, it's rainbow. Okay. I'm going to click on that. Here are my apps. And so the apps, again, if I were to click on one of these apps, it's going to take us to an outside website. It's just a shortcut, okay? So here are my nice shortcuts that I want to have available to me. All right. So let's go back to our slides. Now that we've kind of looked at that, let's look at the Chrome store now. I'm going to go back to my apps, the tab that had my little rainbow tic-tac-toe here. And do you see this little shopping bag with the Chrome icon? Okay, that's the web store. That would be like the Apple, the iTunes, or the Apple Store, right? So if I click on that, this is where, if you have a Google account, a Gmail account, this is where, and you're utilizing the Chrome browser, this is where you can go in and find apps that you might want to utilize. Okay? So the first app that I want to show you is one that will help organize all of the, listen to me. The first extension I want to show you, remember these are the extensions up in the right hand corner. The first extension I want to show you is one that can help manage your app or your extensions, okay? And it's called Extensity. So I want to look up the Extensity extension. So I typed it into my search box within the web store, pressed enter, and here it is. It's the top option there. And what Extensity does is it just allows us to organize all of our different extensions. I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to show you what it looks like to turn on and off extensions within Extensity as we move through. Okay, I'm going to hop back here. So that was our first extension on the list, on the slides there. So the next one that I want to show you, and this is where we can start to have some fun and utilize some tools. The next one is called Read and Write for Google. So I'm going to take you back to the web store. We can look that one up. If I can find the X, here we go. Okay, so I'm at the web store, and I'm going to type in Read and Write. No, that's not what I want. It's an extension. There it is. So I would click on it. And for me, it says it's already been added to Chrome. For you or your learner, this would say Add, and it would be a blue box. So you would click on that and say, yes, I want to add that to Chrome. Okay. So pardon me? Some of them are free, some of them are not. It indicates that on this handout. Okay? So, here's my Extensity in action. Okay? So I'm going to turn off all of my other extensions except for Read and Write for Chrome. I'm going to turn that one on. See how it's purple now? Ooh. Okay. But over here it's not purple. It needs to be purple if it's working. So I'm going to refresh. It's working now. It turned purple. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a Google Doc. Do you guys use Google Docs with your Chromebooks? Yep. So here's my Google Doc. And do you see that little same purple puzzle piece? It's moved. Now, Read and Write for Google is offering me within Google Docs a set of tools that I can utilize during class to engage and work with the Google Doc that's sitting in front of me. Okay? So if I press on that little purple puzzle piece, it's going to drop down all my tools. It doesn't take me somewhere different. It doesn't look any different. It's on the same device as every other learner has. It's just that little toolbar comes down. Okay? And so now you can see all of these different tools that are available. I'm going to show you a couple. The first one I want to show you is a tool that we can utilize to read the text on the page. Okay? So you see my cursor. It's right there at the beginning of the title, World Series. And then here's a play button. And we'll press play. And I just used the pause button to pause. So that one tool is just reading the text out loud to us. Now there are some times when we aren't in a Google Doc, but we need text read to us, right? So let's take a look and see what it might look like if we go to, let's see, I'm going to go to weather.com because I know there are some interesting things going on with some fires up north. So I want to get a little better idea about that. And I'm going to read the story. There's a video. This is a lot of text for me to be reading. I'm not quite sure that I'm going to be able to do that. So let me go back up to my puzzle piece. Oh, sorry, the video is playing. So now, did you see what happened there? I clicked on that puzzle piece up in the right-hand corner on my extension bar. And now, even though we're not in Google Docs anymore, Read and Write for Chrome is offering me that toolbar right within a website. So now I can come down here and I can highlight some text and I can press play. All right, so I pressed pause. Another option, now that I'm kind of looking into this wildfires, as a student I might say, hey, I want to take this back and I want to share this tomorrow for current events. Awesome, great idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the place because I think that that's an important part. And I think the Alberta Fire Manager, Chad Morrison, has an important role. And I'm just going through and I'm highlighting some of the things that I think are really important about this article. All right, so now I've highlighted those things, but I need to take them tomorrow. I need to show them to my teacher or at least turn them in tomorrow. So how can I do that? I don't want to have to take notes. I don't like writing. So do you see this little, it looks like a colorful recycling sign, but it's got those 4 arrows kind of going around. Okay, watch what this does now. If I hover over it, it says collect highlights. So now it's going to ask me what color do you want to collect? And I want to collect all of those colors. And now what this is doing is it's taken all of those highlights and it's developed its own Google Doc based on the info that I wanted to keep from that current event. Okay? All right. And then it also it cited all the information and it also put my name there. So current events for tomorrow's homework, done. Pretty cool, right? All right, so Read and Write for Google or for Chrome also has an interesting feature. I'm going to turn it back on. Yes. No, I think what they've done there, and somebody who's a professional in note-taking could probably tell me better. But when we teach learners how to take notes, typically, if we're talking about people, it gets one color, or one color gets referenced one place. And so it's just a way for us to organize the notes we're taking. But another component of this, right, is that we don't want to just provide the facts from the article for our current event. We want to add some detail ourselves and some thoughts and some feelings that we gain while reading. So what we can do is we can utilize a couple of different things. Number one, there's a word prediction tool. So did you see when I turned on this little, it's like a little magic ball there? A list of words came up underneath, and what this is doing is it's just giving us it's predicting the words we're going to type. Okay, so if I say, I feel scared for the people living, and do you see as I'm typing it's guessing all the words, and so if I wanted to, I could go along living, and then it guessed in, and then I'm going to put Alberta. All right. So that's one tool. It's one option to gather a load of tools that are that support learners, right? There are others. So let's go back to our slides and take a look. Another one, and this one's free. It's called Ginger. This tool is actually can be utilized to help learners check their spelling and their grammar. So I'm going to go back into my Extensity. And I'm going to turn off Read and Write for Google Chrome, and I'm going to turn on. I had one of my output, like the Read and Write for Google, the purple thing. It would read this for me. But I can also just read it from here, right? Boy, that looks really nice. If visually I prefer to have different backgrounds or different text, that text to me, I don't like reading that. But I do like reading more. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, my alerts. And I can also enlarge the text. I can create more space. So we can adjust the text, the way it's presented. I can also say, you know what? I like a black background. It keeps my attention. And I actually do like a black background when I read, especially on a computer. It visually helps me pay attention for longer periods of time. The voices on the reader are very specific to certain kids, and some make them cringe a little bit, kind of the technology-based voices. And yes, you can. There are ways to go in and change, but you have to usually purchase the voice. And so for a couple bucks, less than $5, you can go in, and there are places you can buy different ones. Test them, see what you like, and then purchase those and have them uploaded. Yep. Yeah, so see this? Yep. So share, send, or download this article. So yeah, not only do you have to use it on your device, or can you use it on your device, you can also use it on a hard copy and just clean hard copies up for kids. Yep. So that's pretty neat, huh? I love readability for myself. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm going to go back to the slide. Sorry about all the hopping around. I don't want to make anybody sick or nauseous, but I want to make sure that you see how some of these work. Any questions so far? I've had a couple people ask. I know it's late in the day. It's been a long day of learning. All right. So the next one I'm going to show you, so that Read and Write, that purple puzzle, I will tell you that is not a free tool. That's definitely not a free tool. And neither are this next one that I'm going to show you. If you want to look more at those, you can get the information right from right from this, and you can go in and kind of look up prices for yourself. Again, department is Department of Education is not suggesting that these are the best tools out there, just showing you what tools have the characteristics that our kids need to access text and digital content effectively. All right, so this specific tool, Snap and Read, is a really nice, fantastic tool. I'm going to go to AEA Online. Okay, so our AEA Online tools, does anybody know about some of these? Yeah, I thought you might. So we have a couple of really cool things. Bookflix is one. Britannica Online. We have Culturegrams. We've got a lot of other different tools, learning resources that kids can access to gain content. So I'm going to go in here to Britannica Online. Okay. So I'm going to show you this. These are available to all of our students across the state, free of charge. So if you like what you see here and might want to get a way to log into this for yourself, connect with your either AEA or school media specialist, and they can work with you to get you access to some of these tools. Let's see. We have learning at any level. I'm going to, not high school, middle. I'm going to go to middle school, and I want to look up spring water, spring season. That's what I want to look up. Here we go. So now what this has done is taken all the content around spring in Britannica, but it has given us some article or some information. And I'm going to go to articles. Here we go. Season. I want to know more about these seasons. Now, I can, right within Britannica, I can actually have Britannica read this to me. It's got its own little built-in.
Virtually every living thing is affected by the seasons, which are known.
Okay, but I also wanted to show you Snap and Read. And I'm going to this website because it's got pictures that I think Snap and Read can read for us. Okay, so I'm going to turn off readability because sometimes that gets goofy with our other. There we go. So this should turn color when it's turned on, and it's not turned on. So I'm going to refresh my page. I'm going to refresh my page again. All right, it's still not turned on. Ah, there we go. Did you see that? Now I have this bar over here. And what this is giving me, so I can read all this text in here, right? Awesome. But what I can't do, play this darn picture. I don't know what some of this is saying. So what Snap and Read does is it allows us to take these things that the computer sees as pictures, and it allows us to read it.
How seasons change. March 21st, vernal equinox, IAJAA, year orbit, each tropic of each Cancer, IAA, Capri. June 21st to 4th of December, 21st summer solstice, winter solstice, $40, higher 4 a.m.
Okay, so not the great choice by myself, but you can see that in that picture that virtually would be inaccessible to our students who are struggling readers. It went in and it could at least give us some of the information found on that picture. So it can also do a very interesting thing. So we know, so right now I'm in the middle school content, right? We have some kids who are in middle school and need, by law, access to middle school content. However, their vocabulary and language skills may not be at the same age as their peers, right? So what we need to do is provide them a way to get the same content just in a little different way, right? So do you see this little tool here? It's got the square and then the arrow that comes down into the circle. What this is, it's called a text leveling tool, okay? So I can click on that. and I just clicked on the text. Did you see that change? Okay. What that has done is it's taken all of that high-level vocabulary and it's reduced it. But it didn't take it away. It's still there, right? So we have every word that's been changed has been changed. The word has been changed, but it's also been italicized. So that, as that student's reading, they can now go in here. Oh, so the word almost means, virtually means almost. So you can go in and swap those out. So you're able to go in and kind of change vocabulary to meet learner needs. Now I will tell you that you can go in here and set that vocabulary at different levels. So it's not one set. You can set it higher, you can set it lower, you can set it to do different things. But that's an interesting tool. Another thing that I wanted to show you with Snap and Read. Anyway, it has an ability to translate. So if we have learners who are English language learners who are also struggling readers, it'll provide opportunity to translate. Any questions about this one? This one kind of blows my mind a little bit. It's really, really interesting, and it's so accurate. All right. Oh, there it is. Here. Oh, they've got a new tool. See, look at this. I can't even keep up with it all. So now I'm assuming this is notes, kind of like in the other one where I was highlighting. And then everything you highlight comes over here, and you've got an outline of notes that you can, wow, fantastic. Okay. That's a great question, actually. Thank you for bringing that up. You know, I'm showing you all of these tools, not because I'm endorsing any one tool. I'm endorsing the characteristics of the tools. I'm telling you that there are things out there, tools that are called word prediction. Word prediction tools allows our kids to go in and just like on our cell phones, we can start typing and it'll start guessing what we're going to type next. It's a really powerful tool for a lot of kids. I could show you probably 5 different things on here that provide that tool. But there are more every day. There's no way that I could keep up with it, and so I don't expect anybody to keep up with it. But a few things walking away today, and you'll hear me refer to these not as Snap and Read, but as text leveling tool, or text to speech, or word prediction. Those are the characteristics of the tool, not the tool itself, okay? All right, but great question. Don't try to keep up with it, because you'll feel like it's just a never-ending game. All right, so here's another really awesome one that I personally use all the time. It's called High Contrast. I work at my computer a lot, so that really bright white screen, it's visually overwhelming. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to turn on high contrast. It looks like a moon with a white side and a black side, like there it is. Okay, so now I'm going to go, we are over here. So that's pretty bright white, right? If I go into high contrast, I can try to change it a little bit. The one that I like is this increased contrast. Do you see what that did there? It really made it visually presents the dark stuff. It makes it a little more dark. Another one that some kids like is that high contrast with the black background. But there are lots of different options, just a grayscale. It lessens the visual load for some kids. Now, some would say visual representation of text, it doesn't make a difference. Well, if you ask some of our kids, it does. And so that's why I'm showing it to you. All right, I'm going to go back to normal. Does this one work better for our eyes today? Can you see that one better? No? Yeah? Okay. I'll leave that one on. I'll go back to my slides now. Okay, it's about It's almost 3:20. I want to leave room at the end so that if anybody wants to come up and engage with some of these things or ask questions, we can do that, okay? We've got a few slides left. So the next one I want to show you is co-writer. This one is, I'm not going to show it to you again because it's that same word prediction, right? Word prediction, it allows us to type, and then it'll guess what we're going to say. Again, it's the same thing our smartphones do. One that I do want to show you is speech to text, using our voice to write. I'm going to go back to those notes we had from the fire, right? Okay, so my job now, my teacher really appreciated, stop highlighting. My teacher really appreciated that I came to school today and had this really awesome current event. And so what she wanted me to do, since we're writing short stories in English class, she wanted me to write a short story about what I would do if I were in this fire or my family was in this fire, right? I don't like typing. I don't just like typing, I don't like writing either. It doesn't work for me. I can do it, but I'm really slow. And it's not the thoughts in my head. I can think a lot faster than I can write or type. This sounds like any of your kids, sounds like a lot of the kids I've worked with. So something we have provided, and this is when I say that Google is really starting to look at universally designing for all people. They've actually inserted a voice typing feature. This is free. 4 years ago, people would pay $500 to $1,000 for software to do this, okay? Now it's free on Google. So again, it's speech to text. That's the characteristic we're looking at. So it's the same thing that we have on our smartphones, but it's in Google. So I'm gonna click on this little microphone, and it's gonna turn red. When it's red, it's ready for me to speak. Yesterday afternoon, I saw the smoke billowing from the forest. Florist. Okay. Ooh, it kept going. I had to turn it off. So that's the start of my short story there. It keeps highlighting. But that was pretty lickety split, right? And I think it had. Yesterday afternoon, I saw the smoke billowing from the florist. Well, I wasn't being very clear there, was I? Because I couldn't find a word to write. So I could go back over here and let's see. I could use one of my other tools to have that speak back to me, right? So it could read back to me, and then I would know, well, I've got to come in here and change florist to forest, okay? So then I can write again. My puppy dog got jittery. You could tell something was wrong. What should we do? Should we run? Should I go get Mom? Okay, so I just started writing there. Some kids like to think in their head and gather an entire perfectly formed sentence and say that and then turn their tool off. Other kids are literally just going to ramble. They're going to ramble and they're going to get every single idea that they ever had possibly in their head about this short story and what it could be and where they could go and what they could do in this short story and get it all out and then turn it off. And then they can go back and kind of edit and fix and shift around, right? So there are different ways to utilize speech to text. It's not, no one way is wrong or right. What's really interesting for those folks with young kids, I'm talking 3, 4 years old, talking emergent literacy. If they have relatively clear speech, turning this on and letting them watch it creates this urgency for them to start to think about writing. It's like, oh my gosh, my ideas, and then you can have it read back to them. And for little kids, it hooks them into writing, right? Because it's purposeful, they see it. It's a really powerful tool, and it's free. All right. Okay, some other free ones that are right within Google Docs. These are fantastic. Do you remember the highlighting tools that were with Read and Write Gold? Okay, those are free. Right within Google Docs. So you go to Add-ons, and you can see here that they're called Text Help Study Skills. I already have them turned on. But if it wasn't there, and if you've never added an add-on to your Google Doc, you would say, get add-ons. So then it would take you to a portion of the Chrome store again, and you would say, highlight tool, text help study highlight tools. That's the one I want. So then you would press the button and it would come into your account. So again, now that what am I doing? Add-ons, there we go. Text help study skills, show highlighting tools. Here we go. So now we have those same tools that we had to pay for in the other version. If the study tools are all we need, here they are available, okay? You can select and you can, oh, I need to highlight first. Okay, so then I could go in and again, you could collect your highlights, you could clear your highlights, you could manage it all from right there. So I'm gonna clear them all. I don't want any of the highlights in my document because this is ready to turn in. All right, another add-on, and this one has not been working for me lately, so I'm prepping you, so I'll show you some mind maps that I've done. But this one is called a mind map, okay? So we just had all of those highlighted things right there, right? It's called MindMeister. I'm going to say insert a mind map. Oh, sorry, I need to highlight first. And then insert, and so this is supposed to, it's not working. So what it's supposed to do is when you take text, it's supposed to then put it into a graphic organizer that you can manipulate and fix so that you can have a graphic representation of the text. Another one, especially for those writing reports, Easybib Bibliography Creator. This will help, this would have made grad school like so easy. So again, go back here, here. All right, so you would put in your title. If it's a book, you would put in your title, your ISBN number, or keywords. And then you would put search. You would find what source it was, whether it was a textbook or it was a novel, and it would start collecting all the different citations. Oh, you can play around with that one. Oh, no. I tell you, hold on. Okay. Let's do a website. There we go. Okay. Let's do, there's that. There we go. So now, there is an MLA cited text. You can see APA. So now, there's the APA version. Yeah. Yeah, right? Oh my gosh. So then you'll start to kind of add them up, and you'll just keep adding them to this thing, and then you can export it all, or you can copy paste it, whatever you need to do. All right. So I'm going to hop back in here. Some of these tools, I tell you. Ooh, look at me hopping through. Okay, so this is my contact information. I also have a card available if you'd like my phone information. This was a lot of information in like close to an hour. I recognize that. So we've got 15 minutes left of our scheduled time. What I'd like to do is open it up, number one, for questions. And I'm thinking questions might be going back through these slides to say, you need to show me that again, or hold on, can you clarify something? Is there any need to do anything? What do you have? Oh, you just made a great point, really clear. You have an iPad. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Google Chrome, you can get Google Chrome, the browser for an iPad, will not have these tools. Sometimes our platforms and our browsers, they don't like to play nicely together. Those are things that I think everybody's working on, but at this point, the tools that I just showed you will not work on Chrome browser on an iPad. It'll work. Yep. I'm going to show you on here, and then I'm going to come watch you do it. Okay? You've got readability. Yep. Fantastic. Oh, and the read and write? Awesome. So all of the... Fantastic. So he just got a lot of the tools that we were just showing, and he does have it on the iPad. Awesome. Okay. So remember these little... I'm going to get just a new browser window. Remember these apps? Are you on a Chromebook? Okay. So there should be an icon that looks like this somewhere. Do you see that? Love it. Look at you. And you've got Ginger for there. Was that free? That's not an iPad. And you have the iPad. Oh yeah, then all of these, you can get all of this on there. Right. The mobile version doesn't allow this, but if that's an Android, it can get all of these. Yep. Did you find it? Yay! She did. Yay! So it's going to look a little different if you're on a Chromebook. But if you're on a browser on a laptop, you just go to this little icon in the upper left corner, and then that little, it looks like a grocery bag or a shopping bag, and it'll take you right to the web store. Give you a little, maybe some clarity on perhaps why that happens. When our tech folks decide that they want to engage with a Chromebook or a MacBook or the Chrome browser, they are really focused on web safety, making sure that your students' information is safe, making sure that the school's information and all of the accessibility in their school for the web are safe. Sometimes things like this, web accessibility and effective and efficient use tools can sometimes just fall to the wayside. But I tell you what, there have been lists developed in the state by members of leadership teams for assistive technology, so special education technology, and general education technology specialists that we're starting to provide to tech directors and districts to say, hey, when you're considering going one-to-one with devices, here are some things or some tool characteristics you might consider. One would be, like the writing stuff, the word prediction. So we're not there yet. We've got some districts that are doing it and providing these web accessibility tools and others that aren't. But I think with some gentle conversations and, hey, did you know? I think we could start that conversation at many different schools. Yep. Because if you think about this, number one, I use probably half the tools that I showed you on a regular basis. Number two, the tools that I showed you could work for an array of kids, not just kids on IEPs, right? So I think that those are things that are really powerful. And when we share it that way to our tech folks and our folks who are really looking at supporting all the kids in a school, I think we'd be in some engaging conversations. Great question, though. Any other questions? Anybody want to try anything? fantastic. So Google, what was it again? Okay. And that's a, awesome. Awesome. Something to check out. Did anybody want to share anything else that they know of or that they've been utilizing? Yeah. Oh, look at these. I think we've got a lot of different ones to choose from here. It would be that one.
That's
Google. Wait, that's text to speech. That'll read the text to you.
See, that's voice to text up there.
Yep. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I think we're ready to wrap up. Thank you for coming today. And if you'd like to connect or get my contact information, I'd be happy to chat.